What do you think of when I say community-created content? Is it Skyrim and its billions of user-created mods? What about DayZ, which resurrected Arma 2 and made it a bestseller on Steam years after it was released? Or maybe Dota, which has spawned like a bajillion clones. Seriously, you can't walk down the street without tripping over an announcement for a new MOBA game. Maybe you think of games that started as mods and became blockbuster successes that have forever changed the world of gaming, such as Counter-Strike or Team Fortress. Whatever you think of, it's an undeniable truth that community-created content is woven into the very fabric of gaming itself. That's where we start with Dungeonforge, providing a toolset that literally anyone can pick up and use to create amazing content that other gamers are going to love, a platform for presenting your creation to the world, and of course, disgustingly fun combat to drive it all. Seriously, this stuff's like crack. I know, you've seen this before. Guy hits things with swords, another guy hits them with sparkly magic. Some chick hits them with arrows, and some wimpy priest dude hides behind the rest of them, dealing out heals and buffs because, I don't know, maybe he has a weak stomach or something. Blah blah blah, show me something new, you scream at your computer screen, and rightly so, though perhaps a bit misguidedly since I can't actually hear you from here, and boy do you look silly screaming at your screen like that. In Dungeonforge, we depart powerfully from the traditional ARPG formula. Spamming a mouse button until your monster falls over dead, your stat sheet and a dice roll dictating whether you hit the monster or a monster hits you, those are things of the past in Dungeonforge. Character build and loot have a role to play in customizing your experience to fit your playstyle, but ultimately, these things do not dictate whether you win or lose. Victory is entirely in the hands of the player every moment of the way. Our combat is based on strategy, positioning, and timing. It's fluid, frenetic, and rewards you for taking the time to master your character's playstyle. Our combat is compelling, engaging, and insidiously addicting. It better be, because we want to see a universe full of community content spring up around this thing. We know that will absolutely never happen if the gameplay sucks. Killer gameplay is the driving force for all the rest of the crazy amazing stuff we're striving to accomplish with Dungeonforge. The Dungeonforge, ancient artifact and tool of the gods, engine of creation, enabling the gods to test the mettle of the mortals below. In Dungeonforge, you don't just play as a dungeon-crawling warrior, you are a god with the power of creation in your hands. Our toolset for creating quests, dungeons, and other adventures is at the heart of what we're striving to accomplish. We want to leave our mark on the gaming industry, and we want to do that by enabling you to make your mark. Our tools are crazy simple. Lay down one of our beautifully crafted prefab tiles, then another and another, crafting rooms, corridors, villages, sprawling plains, winding forest paths, and majestic castles within moments. Fill it all with monsters and loot, create a compelling, dynamic, branching quest, and then add it to the ever-expanding world of the game for all to experience. We wanted to bring the ability to create compelling content to everyone, not just those with experience developing games. For those that do have that experience, we want to open up the possibilities even further by allowing you to create your own assets and add them to the game for you and the entire community to use. We're dying to see what mark you leave. Dungeonforge is free to play. Right? Because real gamers hate free-to-play games. In all seriousness though, we wanted to avoid doing a pay-to-win game like the horrific dysentery-inflicting plague that it is. We also wanted to avoid the mind-numbing nightmare that many freemium games descend into, where you either face an insanity-inducing grind to progress, or get to pay for the magic key that unlocks the next portion of the game. In fact, we weren't really thinking about any of that stuff at all from the game's inception. We just knew it had to be free. We wanted to make sure that the content that you create with our tools would be accessible to the largest possible audience. Free just made sense. So we drew a line. All gameplay content would be available for absolutely free at all times. There would be no point that would come in the game where you had to either grind your brain into a pulp or pay through the nose to progress further. There would be no direct purchasing of gameplay affecting items. In fact, there would be no basic advantage to giving us any money at all at any time. We wanted to create something that was so awesome that gamers have a truly exceptional experience playing our game. Gamers who enjoyed the game enough and wanted to support the continued development of this game and others from our studio while personalizing their own experience and the look of their character along the way would have that opportunity. We also wanted to reward players who consistently produce the very best dungeons and quests. So, any dungeon in the game will be playable in a normal mode or a premium epic mode. Epic mode will let players play through a dungeon on a higher difficulty while retrieving more aesthetically unique epic loot. Every time a dungeon is played on epic mode, the dungeon's creator gets a cut of the cost of admission, which they can then spend on in-game cosmetic items or their own epic mode runs. Furthermore, if enough in-game currency is amassed, a player can cash it back out for real-world dollar bills. We want to reward the crap out of those community members who are dedicated to creating experiences that other gamers love. Listen, we know, we're a new studio, we get it. We understand your caution. You want to make smart decisions and ensure that you're backing the projects that you know you're going to have fun with. And if you're like us, you really like projects that have big name devs involved with them. What's really important at the end of the day is that whatever project you back, you have the time of your life playing it when it comes out. To do that, a project needs fun, fresh ideas, and fundamentally engaging gameplay. What else really matters? At the end of the day, you want a game that you're going to love to play. We think we've got that, and we are striving to deliver on this game's immense promise. Fresh, insidiously addictive combat, an honest free-to-play economy with a pro-player stance, unlimited, fresh, community-driven content powered by our innovative suite of creation tools. That's what we're offering. That's Dungeonforge.